Let me ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Have you ever been sitting there, maybe scrolling mindlessly through your feed, or just staring blankly at a blank wall, doing absolutely nothing, and suddenly this heavy wave hits you out of nowhere? You are not necessarily sad, you are not angry about anything specific, you are just profoundly empty. Your phone, which usually provides that quick hit of dopamine, suddenly feels heavy and useless in your hand. Your favorite lo-fi playlist sounds like background noise, and even those high-energy motivation videos feel like they are speaking a language you no longer understand. You find yourself trapped in a quiet, frustrating loop thinking, why can't I just feel happy for no reason? If you are anywhere between 15 and 35, living in the thick of this hyper-connected, fast-paced modern landscape, you know exactly what that void feels like. We have been told that our minds are entirely under our psychological control, that if we just think positively or manifest a better reality, our emotions will magically fall into place. But let's be real. When you are stuck in that emotional gray area, trying to use positive thinking to cure your unhappiness feels exactly like trying to grab your own hair to pull yourself out of a swamp. It is an exhausting, circular battle, because our brains were never actually designed to make us happy. From an evolutionary standpoint, your brain is built for survival, fast reactions, and threat detection. It is constantly redlining, pushed into high-arousal sympathetic states by the relentless barrage of notifications, shifting deadlines, and the sheer velocity of digital life. This creates a state of cognitive tunneling, where our reality narrows down to the immediate stressor, blurring out everything else. But what if the solution to shifting your emotional state didn't require you to fix your entire life, force artificial motivation, or engage in toxic positivity? What if the manual override to your mood was completely physical? The profound truth that contemporary clinical neuroscience has revealed is that your brain is essentially a bottom-up machine. It does not just dictate how your body feels. It listens closely to your physical state, your breath, your eyes, your facial muscles, to determine what emotion it should generate next. Change the physical signal first, and the emotional response is hardwired to follow. By understanding this neurobiological reality, we can stop fighting our chemistry and start consciously directing it, shifting our internal state from a high-stress survival mode to a genuine, calm sense of well-being in 15 seconds flat. Consider the way we breathe when the world feels overwhelming. When stress creeps in, our respiration automatically shifts toward rapid, shallow chest breathing. We don't notice it, but this subtle shift triggers a mechanical and chemical failure deep within our lungs. Inside your brainstem, a tiny specialized cluster of neurons, known as the pre-Botzinger complex, acts as the master rhythm generator for your entire respiratory system. When your breathing becomes chronically shallow, it leads to progressive atelectasis, the literal deflation and collapse of the microscopic, elastic air sacs called alveoli, where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. As these sacs flatten, the total surface area available for gas exchange shrinks, causing residual carbon dioxide to rapidly build up in your bloodstream. Even if you think you are breathing fine, your central chemoreceptors detect this chemical imbalance and fire off a panic signal straight to your amygdala, generating acute feelings of anxiety, hyperexcitability, and impending suffocation. You can manually override this panic loop in 15 seconds using a somatic protocol called the physiological sigh. It is a structured, two-part inhalation followed by a prolonged exhalation. You take a deep, conscious breath in through your nose, filling your lungs to their standard capacity, and then immediately take a second, sharp, rapid sip of air without exhaling first. That secondary sip creates a high-pressure mechanical stretch that pops those collapsed alveoli right back open, instantly expanding your lung surface area. Then, you let out a slow, extended exhale through your mouth until your lungs are completely empty. This prolonged exhalation facilitates the immediate clearance of the built-up carbon dioxide, restoring healthy gas chemistry to your blood. More importantly, it activates a hardwired cardiac mechanism called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. As you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes and moves upward, compressing your thoracic cavity and causing your heart chambers to temporarily shrink. As blood flow accelerates through this smaller space, Your baroreceptors register the pressure surge and send immediate sensory signals via the vagus nerve to your brainstem. The brainstem responds by releasing acetylcholine, the body's natural brake fluid, onto the sinoatrial node, slowing your heart rate in real time. You aren't forcing your mind to be happy. You are mechanically signaling to your nervous system that you are safe, and your mind immediately honors that signal. At the exact same time, we have to look at where our eyes are focusing, because the visual system is a direct, physical extension of the brain designed to set the baseline arousal state of your entire nervous system. Think about your gaze when you are stressed or staring at a smartphone screen for hours. Your sympathetic nervous system triggers an involuntary dilation of your pupils, narrowing your visual field into a tight, hyper-focused window centered entirely on the source of stress, while your peripheral environment blurs away. This visual tunnel vision acts as a devastating feed-forward stress loop. Your narrow gaze sends a direct neural projection to the locus coeruleus, a dense noradrenergic nucleus located in your brainstem. The locus coeruleus is the central synthesis site for norepinephrine, the brain's version of adrenaline. When your gaze is locked into a tight focal point, the locus coeruleus increases its tonic firing rate, flooding your cortex with norepinephrine, which accelerates your cognitive time perception and makes immediate deadlines or vague anxieties feel incredibly urgent and disproportionately massive. To shatter this visual stress loop, you have to consciously engage in what neurobiologists call panoramic vision. Without moving your head, you simply relax your ocular and facial muscles, letting your focus soften as you intentionally expand your awareness to include the entire environment around you, taking in the extreme left and right peripheries of your field of view. This simple act of conscious defocusing activates specialized parasympathetic retinal pathways, causing your pupils to contract and signaling the locus coeruleus to dramatically slow down its firing rate. As the noradrenergic discharge drops, your internal processing speed slows back down to a normal pace, your perception of time relaxes, and the metabolic activity in your amygdala dampens, giving you back your cognitive flexibility and emotional composure. It is the visual equivalent of taking your foot completely off the gas pedal of your anxiety. Yet even when we clear the carbon dioxide from our lungs and slow the adrenaline in our minds, we still have to contend with the absolute lack of drive that characterizes those empty, heavy days. This is where we usually make our biggest mistake. We wait around for a massive wave of motivation or a major life event to rescue us before we take any action. But your brain chemistry works in reverse. Your brain does not release dopamine, the primary neuromodulator governing cognitive drive, focus, and motivation, after you achieve a massive goal. It releases it the exact moment it detects perceived progress toward a goal. When you are stuck in a low, stagnant state, your striatal dopamine pools become severely depleted, leading to motivational anhedonia, where even the simplest tasks feel like mountains. To reset this chemical baseline, you have to lean into the power of a micro-win. You must intentionally pick an absurdly small, physical action that takes less than 15 seconds to execute. It could be straightening a single pin on your desk, taking one slow, deliberate sip of water, or adjusting your posture so you are sitting up tall. The moment you execute that tiny, controlled movement, your brain's ventral striatum registers a successful completion, detecting immediate forward progress. This recognition triggers a sudden, clean surge of endogenous dopamine release, replenishing your depleted neurotransmitter pools without the subsequent receptor crash associated with artificial stimulants like caffeine. This microscopic burst of dopamine provides the exact neurochemical fuel needed to break your paralysis, lifting your mood and giving you the momentum to take the next step. When you learn to synthesize these three physical interventions, you realize that you possess an extraordinary level of real-time control over your own internal state. Imagine a moment where everything feels heavy and stuck. Instead of spiraling into a loop of negative thoughts or escaping into the digital void, you pause. You execute 2 deep physiological sighs, immediately clearing the chemical panic from your blood and releasing acetylcholine to slow your racing heart. You soften your gaze, pushing your awareness out to the wide, panoramic edges of the room, forcing the locus ceruleus to cut off its adrenaline supply to your brain. And then, you win a 15-second battle by taking one intentional sip of water, triggering a fresh release of dopamine in your striatum. In under a minute, your entire nervous system undergoes a profound electrophysiological and chemical shift, transitioning from beta-wave cognitive vigilance to a relaxed, clear state of alpha-wave alert calmness. Your life didn't change in that minute. Your problems didn't magically vanish, and the world outside didn't suddenly become perfect. But your internal brain chemistry did change, and that is where true power resides. Happiness isn't a vague, distant destination that you have to chase down or earn after years of perfect circumstances. It is an active biological state that you can trigger on demand. We have spent so long treating our emotions like unpredictable weather, standing helplessly in the rain and hoping for the sun to come out. But science shows us that we are the ones who hold the thermostat. By leveraging these somatic, bottom-up tools, you stop being a victim of your biology and become the conscious author of it. The switches to rewrite your emotional reality are already hardwired into your body. You don't have to wait, and you don't have to force it. You just have to flip the switch.